Evening, folks. I'm Elias Hawthorne, 82, weathered as the Ohio dirt I call home, sipping coffee on a porch that's seen better days. My voice is rough, like tires on gravel, but these stories, they're dynamite. Betrayals that'd make your heart bleed, miracles that'd make you curse fate, and vengeance that burns hotter than hellfire. I've faced family knives sharper than steel and come out swinging. It was Father's Day, 2019, and I was 75, hunched in my crumbling Ohio shack where rain dripped through the roof like tears. I'm Elias Hawthorne, a widower who raised my daughter Mara alone after my beloved Esther died of ovarian cancer when Mara was 6. I slaved in a foundry, the heat scorching my skin day after day, my lungs filled with dust so thick I could taste it in my sleep. I sold my pa's fishing boat, the one he'd built with his own hands, for her piano lessons, the kind where she'd play Chopin with fingers flying like birds. I went hungry, my stomach growling through the nights, so she could study architecture in Rome, sketching cathedrals under Italian suns. Mara was my sunrise, the light that got me through the darkness after Esther is gone. But sunrises burn out when greed clouds the sky, turning day into eternal night. Mara married Silas, a crypto mogul with a Dubai penthouse that touched the clouds, and a father, Reginald, who owned diamond mines in Africa and private islands in the Pacific. Reginald strutted like a god among men, yachts longer than my street, gold watches that could buy my shack 10 times over, caviar dinners served by butlers in tuxedos. Me? I lived on a measly pension, barely enough for bread and coffee. My only treasure, a faded snapshot of Esther, her smile crinkled at the edges from years of thumbing it in lonely moments. That Father's Day, Mara screeched up in Silas's Rolls-Royce, the engine purring like a satisfied cat, Reginald grinning like a shark smelling blood in the water. She tossed me a greasy paper bag, her eyes avoiding mine as if I was a stranger on the street. "Happy Father's Day, Dad," she muttered, her voice flat as old beer. Inside, a bent, crusty spoon from a thrift store, worth $1 if that. Rusted spots like freckles on its handle. "For your soup," she sneered, lips curling in a way that twisted my gut. Then she spun to Reginald, radiant as a queen at her coronation, her face lighting up like the Christmas trees she used to beg me for as a kid. "For you, Daddy," she purred. Daddy, the word a sledgehammer to my chest, crushing the air from my lungs. A velvet envelope, thick and luxurious, slid into his hands. Reginald opened it, his eyes gleaming with the hunger of a man who has everything but wants more. A $500,000 gold-plated Arctic cruise, private icebreakers cutting through frozen seas, champagne flowing under the dancing auroras, personal chefs crafting meals from rare ingredients flown in from around the world. Silas toasted with Dom Perignon they'd hauled along, the bubbles fizzing like my boiling blood, laughing as I stood there, spoon in hand, my heart shattering like glass under a boot. That night, I hurled the spoon into the fireplace, the flames devouring it with a hiss, licking my rage as if it was fuel. Why was I nothing to her? I paced the creaky floorboards, each step echoing in the empty house, memories flooding like a burst dam. Myra's tiny hand in mine at Esther's funeral, her little face wet with tears as we buried her mother. Her piano recitals, where I'd sit in the back, proud as punch, clapping until my hands ached. her letters from Rome, filled with sketches of ancient arches, promising, "I'll make you proud, Dad, and bring you here one day." Proud? This was betrayal's sting, a poison that spread through my veins, making my chest tight. Tears fell, raw, choking sobs that racked my old body. I clutched Esther's photo to my chest, whispering through gritted teeth, "Where did I fail her, love? Where did it all go wrong?" Next morning, the sun barely peeking through gray clouds, I cleared Esther's old knitting basket to numb the pain. Needles and yarn tangled like my thoughts. At the bottom, a locket caught my eye. Silver, tarnished but familiar. Esther's handwriting etched inside. "Elias, our legacy sleeps beneath the oak." A faded map, yellowed with age, pointed to our backyard tree, the one we planted on our honeymoon, its branches now gnarled like my hands. Shovel in hand, I dug through dawn's mist, the soil cold and clumpy, clinging to my boots like regrets. Each thrust of the shovel brought flashbacks. Esther laughing as we planted the oak, her hands dirt-streaked, eyes sparkling, promising, "This is our forever, Elias." The work was hard, my back aching from years of labor, but I pushed on, sweat mixing with tears. Clang! The shovel hit metal, a steel vault sealed tight with rust and time. My heart raced like a young man's, hands trembling as I pried it open with a crowbar from the shed, the metal groaning in protest. Inside, gold ingots stacked like bricks, sapphires sparkling like stars, a 17th century conquistador's hoard. Esther's ancestor, a rogue captain named Diego, hid it during a raid on Spanish ships, evading the king's taxman. The gold gleamed in the morning light, each bar heavy with history, the sapphires blue as Esther's eyes. I sat back on my heels, breathless, the weight of it sinking in. This wasn't just treasure, it was salvation, a second chance from beyond the grave. I called a discreet appraiser, an old quarry buddy named Joe, who knew how to keep secrets. His voice shook over the phone as he examined photos. "Elias, this is Cortez's lost cash, the stuff of legends. $2 billion at auction, easy. But be careful. Old hoards like this come with tales of curses." I kept it secret, no fanfare, selling through underground dealers in shadowy meetings in city alleys, avoiding taxes and prying eyes. Netting $1.8 billion after fees and cuts, I bought a Napa estate with rolling vines that stretched to the horizon, funded hospitals in Esther's name, buildings rising like monuments to her kindness, and built a shelter for single dads, a place where men like me could find support without judgment. My shack became a manor, grand halls echoing with new life, but I kept the old porch for Esther's memory, sitting there with coffee, watching the world change. Myra sniffed the windfall through gossip rags and small-town whispers, her world already cracking under the weight of Silas's investments. She stormed my estate one stormy night, lightning flashing like her anger, mascara streaking down her face like black rivers. "Dad, I was wrong. We're broke. Silas's deals crashed in the market crash. Please share it with me." Her eyes glinted with greed, not remorse, hands outstretched like a beggar at a feast. I tossed her a new dollar spoon, crusty as the first, bought from the same thrift store. "You valued me at this, Mara. Now choke on it with your regrets." She wailed, falling to her knees. "You're heartless, Dad, after all I've been through." I snapped back, my voice thunder. "Heartless? You called Reginald Daddy, gave him luxury while I got scrapped. That's heartless, girl." Her world collapsed like a house of cards in a gale. Silas divorced her within weeks, citing her emotional instability in court papers, leaving her with nothing but debts and echoes. Reginald's cruise ended in utter disgrace, smuggling charges after his gold-plated souvenirs were flagged at customs, his empire crumbling under international investigations, his island seized. But the true terror, the thing that kept me up at nights, the horde's curse, detailed in Captain Diego's log I found tucked in the vault, a leather-bound book brittle with age. Whoso betrays kin for gold shall face the conquistador's wrath, storms of misfortune, betrayal from allies, endless loss until redemption or death. Written by Diego in 1632, cursed after his brother stole a share of the hoard, dooming him to shipwrecks and madness on high seas. The curse was sealed with his blood on a sapphire, binding spirits of betrayed sailors to punish greed. The curse struck Mara's life like a tempest. Her penthouse burned in a freak electrical fire, flames leaping as if conjured from hell, leaving her homeless and singed. Her bank accounts were hacked to zero, money vanishing like water and sand, investigations leading nowhere. Nightmares plagued her, visions of sinking ships, Diego's face staring from the depths, drowning her in saltwater dreams. She confessed to me in a frantic call, voice breaking. "I see him, Dad, a captain with no eyes, pulling me under. It's the gold, isn't it?" Silas saw ghostly galleons on the horizon, crashing his yacht in panic off the Dubai coast, surviving but scarred. Reginald's heart failed mid-cruise, doctors calling it a stroke, but witnesses said he choked on gold dust in his throat, coughing up imaginary ingots in his final moments. I was spared, my hands clean, honoring Esther by giving back, donations to charities, the hoard's artifacts to museums for public good. But to fully break the curse, I sought a local priest, Father Ramirez, descendant of Spanish settlers who performed a ceremony at the oak tree. Holy water sprinkled on the dig site, chants in Latin echoing through the night, the bloodied sapphire glowing, then dimming as spirits faded. Peace restored, the air lighter, as if a weight lifted from my shoulders. Myra came back months later, humbled, her face lined with lessons hard learned, working at the shelter I built, helping fathers like I was once. "Teach me to be better, Dad," she said, eyes clear for the first time in years. "We're rebuilding, spoon by spoon, meal by meal. The curse a memory, a warning. Lesson? Blood outweighs gold, or the curse takes all, leaving you drowned in regret." But let me tell you more about that curse, folks. Captain Diego's log wasn't just words, it was a chronicle of horror. He described the curse's birth. On a stormy night off the Mexican coast, his brother, Juan, stole half the hoard, fleeing in a skiff. Diego, wounded and furious, slit his palm, dripping blood on the sapphire, invoking ancient gods of sea and storm. "May all who betray kin feel the waves' fury, the golds burn, the depths call," he wrote, his script shaky from pain. The curse claimed Juan first. His skiff wrecked on rocks, body washed ashore with gold coins in his mouth, eyes pecked by the gulls. Over centuries, the curse followed the hoard. A 1700s heir who hid it from his son, drowned in a calm lake, body found clutching sapphires. In the 1800s, a cousin who sold a piece for luxury, burned in his manor fire, screams heard miles away. In the 1900s, a relative ignored family to hoard it, driven mad by visions, committing suicide by jumping into the sea. For Myra, the curse manifested subtly at first, a cough that tasted of salt water, boils on her skin like barnacles. Then the visions, Diego's face in mirrors, his voice whispering, "Traitor," in her ear. Her home's fire started from a candle she swore was out, flames spreading like tidal waves. Silas's yacht accident happened during a calm sail. He swore he saw a galleon ram him, in crew of skeletons laughing. Reginald's death was the most gruesome. Mid-toast on the cruise, he clutched his throat, gasping, gold, burning, collapsing as if his lungs filled with molten metal. I read the log obsessively, piecing it together, realizing the curse targeted betrayers of kin, sparing those who use the wealth for good. My donations to hospitals, shelters, the curse saw it, left me be. The priest ceremony was a spectacle. Father Ramirez arrived at dusk, robes flowing, carrying a crucifix and holy oils. We stood by the oak tree, the dig hole still fresh. He chanted psalms, sprinkling water that sizzled on the ground. The sapphire placed on a cloth glowed blue, then red, heat radiating as if alive. Winds picked up, whispering voices fading into silence. The spirits are free, he said, crossing himself. Mara attended a later vigil, her first step to redemption, lighting a candle for Esther. She's changed, volunteering daily, helping dads with groceries, listening to their stories. We talk now, real talks, about mistakes. The curse taught us family is the real treasure, fragile as glass, precious as gold. And so, folks, that's the first tale, a roller coaster of pain and triumph. But hold on, there's more where that came from. Each one a scar on my soul, a lesson etched in fire.